whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. What's happening, gentlemen?
You guys.
Well, yeah, apparently.
Look at the Mariners actually doing stuff. Like, this is, I don't even know who this team is.
All I know, I'm going to go back to the original text message that says you are 0 for 2. Maybe 0 for 1 based on what you said earlier, but you are definitely off the mark, I think, this year on the Mariners.
Well, definitely on them not doing anything by the trade deadline. Like, that's obvious. They still can't win a game that the other team's putting up 4, although I think that will potentially change because now you've added a couple of bats.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah. No. I'm very intrigued to see what this team does moving forward. You know, obviously I didn't have a lot of faith in them prior to this because, well, history says it shouldn't. But, I mean, here we are. They've picked up 3 different players before the trade deadline, which is, 4 p.m. today. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued. I'm very curious what it is they're going to do moving forward. They got to stop dropping games to teams like the A's, though.
Yeah, and, Suarez, what is he? I think he's a 290. He's a good contact hitter. The only knock I think on Suarez was on the defensive side, but I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue for you guys.
No, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Besides, I mean, he was here before, so.
Oh, he was with the Mariners initially?
Yeah. Before he went to Arizona, he was here in Seattle, I believe.
Okay, I didn't look too deep into his career. I just knew where he was at and coming from. Okay, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't think the Astros are going to do a damn thing. We picked up Urias, which is okay. I mean, he'll play third base, whatever, in favor of Paredes, but he's not he's about a 240, 245 bats. I don't know if that's going to be any better than what Dubon was doing over there at third base, other than maybe the fact that, he'll be able to do defensively better than what Dubon was doing. But
I think the Mariners were watching this show and they're like, you know what? Their fans have given up on them. We're going to go all in on this season.
Well, I still think we're linked pretty heavily to Dylan Cease and that Alcantara cat from Miami in terms of trying to bring in one more arm. If they can do that, that would at least bolster one of the areas that I was mostly concerned about was the pitching because of all of the issues we've had. But now, I wish they would have gotten a left field bat. Like Kwan would have been perfect to fill in that left field spot, but I don't know if they're going to make a move on him or not. It's looking like the Dodgers are having a strong interest in Kwan now. So that may be where he winds up going. But I don't know what Dana Brown's saying. We definitely need a left field bat. And that would have been the perfect person to fill that spot. It is what it is.
Yeah. What about your Phillies?
We got a closer.
Yeah.
I mean, the closer's a good closer, obviously, and it's been a point of contention because they have blown 17 save opportunities this year. Imagine having 17 extra wins. We'd have been blown away Major League Baseball.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
With the amount of wins. So, I mean, that's definitely a need. That being said, we still need a bat, and I'm not sure it's going to get done. I'd love to say that, hey, that they are going to go out and do the things we need to do because I'm a big fan of saying, nobody's untouchable if they're not here. If you're in the big leagues, it's one thing. If you're in the minors, nobody's untouchable. I'm a firm believer of that.
Yeah.
That being said, yeah, they're not going to do some of the things that they need to do, and I think that's going to cause us not to get the stuff that we need. And Toronto jumped up tremendously. I feel like the Toronto Blue Jays have really picked up a lot of steam. The Mets did some stuff. The Dodgers getting stuff as well. It's like everybody's getting some stuff, and Phillies, hey, we got a closer.
Yeah, that's why I feel, Pags. We got Urias. Maybe an arm, but we definitely got Urias. Whatever. Okay.
No, well, and that's why, coming into this, I didn't have a lot of faith in the Mariners because for them, usually it's the date comes and goes, and they're like, "Oh, was that this week?" Like,
Who didn't set the alarm?
right? So yeah, nope, I totally get that feeling.
No, but
So-
I was looking at what Toronto's doing over there, and they really are looking pretty good. Some of the acquisitions that they've picked up it's going to make them scary in the AL side of it. But I think what you
Miller
picked
and
up though.
Sears from
Hmm?
the Athletics, from the A's,
Yeah.
they pick up Miller. I knew that he was kind of going to go somewhere. It's just like everybody else is like, oh, okay. Everybody else is doing work. Phillies are hoping, I guess, because I don't know what else to do here. Like, I don't know what else they're, how else they're going to go for. What's up, Santa?
Pay for Christmas. Yeah, no, I think what the Mariners have done and what Toronto's done is really, I think over the course between now and postseason, I think the standings are going to change a little bit in terms of the Mariners. I mean, Toronto's already at the top for the most part.
Yeah, I think it'll be the Astros missing the playoffs. That'll be the.
Hey, but that's the thing, right? I mean, that's not a unrealistic, or not. It's very realistic it could happen because if we don't get our guys back off this damn injured list, that's a very realistic possibility.
No. You guys have people coming back from injury next month. So, I mean, you guys should be fine. So I think you only have like 2 of them that are going to miss the season. Everybody else should be back here in the next couple of weeks. So you guys won't be bad. That was just me being an asshole.
Well,
And also,
here over here, Bo. Don't need any more depression from your end.
And also, here come the Rangers.
Yeah,
they're not too far back either.
And honestly, it's the A's, because they swept Houston and they took 2 of 3 from us.
Well, and that's interesting because Luis Severino, I saw, was on the chopping block over there in terms of they're trying to move him, but I don't think anybody's going to pick up him any more than anybody's going to pick up Verlander, which the Giants are trying to.
They're not actually trying to win. They're just accidentally winning. Is really what it is.
Yeah, they are. They are, man. Damn it.
But I mean, you guys are tied right now with the Rangers for that final wild card spot. I see the Yankees and the Red Sox making that closer. I mean, it's only 2.5 game difference between you guys and them. Obviously, it's a 5 game difference between the Astros, but I see the Astros doing a little swoon here soon enough.
I'll tell you, though, I don't think the Yankees did a whole lot to really address their actual needs. I mean, they brought in McMahon at third base, which is okay. I mean, it's not a bad pickup. But I don't think they did it nearly enough, or they didn't do anything, really, in that starting rotation, which is missing a couple of key players over there. And I think that's going to be the Yankees' weak spot, is going to be their starting rotation.
So I don't know. We'll see. It's I think that the Yankees possibly may not make the playoffs. Same thing with the Red Sox. It's funny that that the 3 of you teams could be in there. The Astros, the Rangers, and the Mariners all make the playoffs.
That would be wild.
That would be crazy.
That would be totally freaking crazy.
The Angels, even interestingly enough, aren't that far out of the mix and have been winning games lately.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're only 4 games out of the wild card, which is odd because you feel like that they should be much further back, and they're not.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of been a streaky team. Like they've rattled off some wins, and then they lose a chunk of them. And I mean, they're just kind of a weird team. They haven't decided if they suck yet.
Do we suck? Do we not suck?
I mean, they got to figure it out by 4 p.m. today.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What I do happen to like is that, I mean, short of the Blue Jays starting to run away with it there, and you guys have been about 5 games out, it's like all these races are fairly close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's, I mean, I guess you could say that the Tigers have blown away everybody else there. So the Tigers have won that. But like everything in the NL is very close. Is like are all 2-team races.
Yeah, true.
The Brewers and the Cubs are a game away from each other. The Dodgers and the Padres are 3 games away from each other, and the Phillies and the Mets are a game, like a half a game away from each other. So it's literally, neck and neck in national. It's the American League that, like I said, has got the Tigers have kind of, you could almost say, have sewn up that.
I mean, they're quite a ways ahead.
9.5 games, and that's not that it's never been done before, because it's not August yet. Tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean that's a couple of injuries that would probably have to happen, or like the most ridiculous slump as far as hitting.
Right.
Because not only do you have to lose all those games, but the teams behind you still have to win them. So, I mean, it's not like you would do 9 in a row and they win 9 in a row. Like the odds of that are exceedingly low. So, I mean, yeah.
And how about the fact that the Brewers are the best team in baseball?
Yeah, they're really coming hard.
It's like I know that they have had, like, they've done some work up there and they've gotten like good bats and what have you, but I don't trust that team. And I haven't seen them do anything really at the trade deadline that made anything so much better for them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But they seem to be rolling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're playing great baseball. So,
let me ask you a question. We were talking about this the other night in the chat, and I was making the case. I felt like that AJ Hinch is a better coach than Aaron Boone. And it was said that, no, that's not true. And I'm like, well, think about this. Aaron Boone has had access to a lot of money to get players that didn't want to. Some come, some didn't come, whatever. But he's had a large access to a payroll for a very long period of time. And he did make the World Series. I didn't want to discount that. He didn't win it, but he made it. But I was making the case that, even though in 2017, they can talk about the trash cans all they want, but, he really built that team from the ground up, from 100 losses to where they were. And then he went into Detroit and took what was a kind of a laughable franchise at that time, and now has them in 9 games in first. And I'm like, and Boone is still doing the same stuff he's done for a long period of time, which is not bad, but it's not been elevating. And I told him, I wonder Aaron Boone versus AJ Hinch in terms of managers.
Got ya.
And I was just trying to make the case that I felt like AJ Hinch was a better manager than Aaron Boone.
Well, I agree with that. I agree with that just in general. I mean, I feel like that he wound up when he was with the Astros. I mean, realistically, you could say that you guys were a 100-loss team and stuff like that, but truth be told, was that you guys had Ed Wade, and Ed Wade does what Ed Wade does, and he was bolster your farm system. We're going to get everybody we need to get, and then you're going to be able to win World Series with this group.
Right.
That being said, I mean, you can say whatever you want about the trash cans and stuff like that, and that's that. But everything else in the process of that, he did that right because he did it with the Phillies. Then they let him go because he's not a wartime consigliere, is how I like to put that. To quote The Godfather, when it comes to actually bringing the team now that you have formulated for the future to the present, you need a different GM, and
Right.
that's why Ed Wade is only good so far for you. Like but he literally orchestrated
Right.
two teams to win that one World Series,
Yeah.
and we're going to championships over and over again.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
So,
Interesting.
yeah.
I'm just over here trying to win a playoff series.
Hey, listen, do you still have the same manager from that 18 inning loss?
No.
Okay. Well, then you might have a better chance.
Yeah, no, that was service. We have Dan Wilson is our guy now. So yeah, he was our our interim guy last year, and got the full. Well, not even really that. They basically kicked service out, and they're like, Dan's not our interim guy. He's our guy moving forward, and they held to that, and he has been their guy. So, and it sounds like maybe him being in there has sort of lit the we're going to actually do stuff, because he was on those Griffey teams back in the day. So he's like, hey, you know what? I remember winning here in Seattle. How about we get some players?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that.
Do you think Wilson is a big reason why the Mariners this year are possibly going out or have gone out and gotten the free agents or trade players that they've gotten? Do you think he's an instrument of that, or is that higher up?
It's the only thing I can think of, because we still have the same GM, right? DePoto's still the guy, and he's been here a long time, and he's never done it before. So you have to think that there's some outside influence making that happen, because it certainly hasn't been on his own doing it, because again, he's been here a long time. So
right.
I think it's a combination of him. Edgar Martinez is the batting coach now. I think having some of those guys from those, 95 to 98 teams where the Mariners were good, I think does play a little bit of a role, because those teams back then were stacked with talent. I mean, it was amazing that they didn't do anything with that team, right? So they make it to the playoffs a couple of times, but, didn't really go anywhere.
Right.
But back then you had dudes. I mean, really since then, outside of 2001, which was, a crazy season in itself, you haven't had a stacked roster, right? Like you've never really, from like 2002 on, you've never looked at the Mariners roster and been like, they're going to do something, right? You've looked at it and you're like, what are they doing? Like, are they just developing talent for other teams? Is that what we're doing? It's the league's AAA farm system.
He said if there was a quadruple A system,
right? Yeah. So no, I mean, I do think that maybe having Dan Wilson, having some of those guys from when the Mariners were good, I think some of it might have influence on them actually finally doing something.
Here you go. Here's something I'm sitting here and I'm reading this here. And this actually has to deal with the Athletics, which obviously is not going to really help much this year, but it's a future situation. The Athletics traded Mason Miller and JP Sears to the Padres and gave up 4 prospects. The Padres' number 1 prospect, who is number 3 in Major League Baseball, prospect, their number 3 prospect, their 11th prospect, their 11th best prospect, and their 17th best prospect. Those 4 for Miller and Sears. Now, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's actually a really big haul for them for those two players. However, the reason why it's something that actually makes a lot of sense for the Padres to do that and even give up, like I said, the number 3 prospect in all of minor league baseball, is because Miller is eligible for arbitration all the way up at the 28. So
Wow.
it's like they've got him, and they're cash strapped.
Yeah.
Actually eligible through 29, the 29 season. So now they've got a closer with, who's not getting paid much. Especially since they've got like 3 guys over there that make a tremendous amount of money.
Mhm.
But I would say look for the A's in about 3 years with those guys. I mean, that one guy is, like I said, he's only 18 years of age, so he's probably a couple years away from making it to the big leagues. But you never know with the way people get thrown up there quickly.
Yeah. I mean, by the time they're good, they might be in Louisville or something.
Well, it was funny. That was the other thing I was reading today, that they are having some serious issues with building this stadium. And the problem is that the owner hasn't broken the money threshold to release the money from the city. And the problem is that there's going to spend close to $2 billion to build this stadium. That's not going to make much sense. It said that this stadium, in its design itself, is going to have the closest seats to home plate, the shortest amount of foul territory, and
Interesting.
only 33,000 seats.
So why are they building the stadium so small then?
Well, because it's Vegas, you know what I mean? And I got to imagine that let's have sellouts rather than deal with, like, if you build it at 50,000 and you only have 20,000 people show up because you are still the Athletics, it's going to look really bad. But if you have 20,000 people show up for 33,000, and I got to imagine, like I said, this is a domed place because, you know what? There's going to be air conditioning in there. So you may just want to go to the game to just get in the air conditioning.
Yeah, I mean, but 30,000 seats. I mean, you're
3,000.
almost what 33? Okay, right. But I mean, still, you're not going to do an all-star game there.
No, you're not.
Right? I mean, that seems weird. It seems like you'd want to build that stadium and then immediately do an all-star game there.
Well,
right?
I mean, you'd have to have MLB on board with that. But yes, I kind of agree. You could probably, I mean, baseball stadiums right now, I mean, the Dodgers have the largest baseball stadium at like 48,000 people.
Yeah.
The Phillies have 45. I think the Padres have like 45, and so do Atlanta. Everywhere else is under 40, like just about.
Yeah. And I do think at some levels, baseball attendance has been kind of down across the league from what I've seen anyway. I know it really has been down even here in Houston.
So ours is 47.9 for T-Mobile Park.
And that's all seats, or is that standing room included?
It just says capacity, doesn't specify on where I looked anyway.
Got you.
Yeah.
But how many people do you normally have? What's your average attendance?
Okay, it's listed as the third biggest. So behind Dodgers and Yankees. Let's see, what is our average? I did not look that up. So
real quick, hey Joe, what do I think about us getting Urias? I pretty much said that earlier, but I'll tell you again. I think him and Dubon have pretty much the same batting average. It's just I think Urias is a little bit better infielder than what Dubon is. So that really is the only advantage, right? Is defensively, Urias is a little bit better than Dubon, but the batting averages are pretty much mirrored exactly on points. So I don't know that it really moves the needle offensively. Maybe it moves the needle a little bit defensively, but it's a lateral move in my opinion.
So the average for this season is 28-8.
So, I mean, that's 55% full. 57, I think, is the number, if I could do my math right.
Last year it was 31-5, 23 was 33. So,
Well, yeah, so you might get a jump, though, now.
Yeah, it'll probably bump up. Capacities always climb towards the end of the season, right? Because the Mariners, despite generally missing the playoffs, they're always flirting with it, right? And the temperatures have started to come down, so more people start going to the games again. In the middle of the summer, attendance always suffers a little bit because, we do get upper 80s, 90-degree temperatures. And let's be honest, you don't necessarily want to go sit out there and barbecue in the sun to watch your team not play great baseball in the middle of the summer.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
attendance is always a little bit lower right now. And then, you start getting into the second half of August and September when it's, 74 and awesome here. Then, you start seeing just shy of capacity crowds start to file in. We're starting to play better baseball. Usually the temperature's a little lower.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think Daikin, which was Minute Maid, it's around between 41 to 42. It's 41,000 seats, but they got a lot of areas that are standing room only areas. So I think if you put another close to 1,000, we're probably about 42,000.
Gino's got 41.9 for the Brewers.
Yeah.
Got you.
I don't know how you didn't hear Jay. That's usually all you can hear, man. Okay.
Man, shots are being fired today. Let me go get my Kevlar. Hold on a minute.
I feel like I should have went back and saved this little soundbite from a show about a year ago now, just so I can randomly just hit the button and have shut the fuck up, Jay.
That was a lot of affection. I can't tell you the amount of love that resonated from my head to my feet when Pags did that. I tell you, I went home and I told my mother, I said, Pags loves me more than you.
There's been some gems on this show. There's no doubt.
Exactly. 100%. I the one thing I cannot seem to stand is that things are going very slow with the trade deadline. I want things to be happening much faster.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, as I look at this and I'm saying, all right, let's check out the standings. Who's really not going to be who's going to be sellers? So the Diamondbacks are sellers. I'm surprised the Marlins are not getting rid of Alcantara, and they actually have some pieces that they could do. But I guess because they're only 3 games out of being 500.
Yeah.
And that makes them 7 games out of the wild card. That's actually a thing for them.
Well, that's the biggest problem, right? Is you have a handful of teams that are just bad, right? But it's not enough it's not as many as you would think there would be. And everybody else is kind of hanging around, which means you're not really a seller, but you're kind of also not a buyer, right? You're not quite there to be like, okay, let me go acquire some pieces and make this push. But you're not so bad that you're like, well, let's just, kick everything out of here, start looking at prospects, stuff like that. There's a lot of parity, I guess.
Right.
And so that hurts the trade deadline.
So looking at it like this, if you were to make the line in the sand, the Arizona Diamondbacks at 51 and 58, so 7 games under 500, that's the line in the sand, kind of. You have the Pirates, the Braves, the Nationals, and the Rockies. Now, I can understand the Braves just standing pat. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we're not going to get rid of our stuff. We're just on an off season, and
Well,
we'll
and they
be
had a lot of
back.
injuries, right? So I mean, them being bad isn't indicative of their roster. I mean, they started the season with injuries.
And I
Right.
think Acuna just went back down on injury, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has inflammation in his Achilles.
Yeah. So I mean, like when you think of it that way, it's not like the roster isn't good enough to do something. So I get wanting to pump the brakes on like selling the farm. It's different when everybody's healthy and you're bad. It's like, yeah, okay, let's go ahead and get rid of the couple of guys that are pretty good and just, collect our toys and get ready for next year.
Right. And I think like the Rockies, obviously, I mean, does anybody even want anybody from the Rockies because they're 28-80. So
Yeah, I
anybody
think McMahon was the only one that left to go to the Yankees was McMahon. I think everybody else, nobody's really touching.
Well,
Right.
that's because their win percentage is an okay batting average.
Damn, coach.
So, but going down that same route, the Angels figuring that they are buyers because they are 3 games out of 500. You have the Twins, the Orioles, the A's, and the White Sox. Now, I'm surprised the White Sox aren't doing anything more with some of their people because they do actually have some people going on and some guys that are getting hot right now. The White Sox are actually a fairly hot team at the moment.
Yeah.
Like the 2 best teams in baseball, from what I understand right now, are like the Pirates and the White Sox. They're the best.
Well, the Sox are 6-4 in their last 10, so they're not really killing it. The Royals are 7-3 though.
And the Pirates are 8-2.
Yeah, Pirates are doing good. Rangers are 7-3.
So, but what I'm saying is like since the All-Star break, I think the White Sox and the Pirates are actually 1-2. I don't know that for certain because after looking at this, I kind of think that Detroit's also got to be somewhere in that mix. But they're actually 4-6 in the last 10, so they won 4. So
yeah, no, like I mean, when you look at the last 10 for most of the league, it's not real impressive. Actually, it's a lot of 500 baseball, but that again is the dog days of summer, right? Like that's right now is when there's a lot of flat spots in people's seasons.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because that was one of the things I was telling you earlier that the Astros were looking at was either Dylan Cease is the one guy, and then Alcantara was the second guy. Both of them kind of have issues. Alcantara's coming off that injury, so his ERA really isn't quite where it needs to be. Same thing with Dylan Cease. He's got almost a little under 5, but I think he's trying to get where he needs to be. But if you had to trade for either one of those pitchers, which one would you go with?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a hard one, right? Because I was thinking, like, how do you make that decision?
The one that can go into the bullpen for the Phillies.
The one thing that worries me about Alcantara is he is coming off that Tommy John, and I just hate.
I don't care. I would take Alcantara
anymore.
Yeah,
I would absolutely take Alcantara. We don't have a problem right now with our starting rotation. It's our bullpen that's the problem. We have one of the best starting rotations right now in baseball. Yeah, we're definitely top 5. So I'm not really concerned like that. I mean, and that's without Aaron Nola.
Right.
And I'm suspecting that he's going to come back this year. And ultimately, if he does come back, I would hope that they actually put him to the bullpen for the remaining portion of the season. Like, hey, listen, let's get you this way and have you do bullpen stuff until we win the World Series, and then you come back and be a starter next year. Because obviously he's signed as a starter, he's done starter stuff most of the time. I don't know, like he's an inning eater. He doesn't typically get hurt, so this is something new for him.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, because Jay, you bring up Tommy John a lot, and the thing about it is that I don't view it the way that you used to. right? Like if you had Tommy John, it was a wrap, right? Your career was probably just about toast. Now it's like, yeah, a lot of these guys are throwing better off that surgery now. And, it's kind of like when you think of Achilles back in the day, right? Like that was a career ender. And now it's like, yeah, I mean, you're going to miss a year. You're kind of going to be a little bit slow the first half of the next season, whatever. Yeah, it's just the medical technology is so much better today than it was.
Right.
So when these Tommy John surgeries happen, you're like, oh, okay, he's probably actually going to throw like 2 miles an hour harder when he gets back.
Well, I can't wait for baseball to start. It's only going to take like one or two pitchers to start going back to like the change ups that are on a string,
Oh, yeah.
and things like that, where the 70-mile-per-hour pitches are the ones, because I feel like that this is, with the home run comes the 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Like that's
Yep.
kind of what's been going on here. And ultimately, I feel that when you finally get the pitchers that are throwing, and we see it now when they bring up the non-pitchers throwing
Yes.
50 and 60 miles an hour and striking guys out because they're just not used to seeing it like that.
Yep.
So when you get that pitcher who's throwing like 60 and 70, and those change ups that come out as fastballs and then just boom, like almost stop and barely make it over to the plate.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to wind up doing really well. Ones that can make these baseballs go like wiffle balls,
Mhm.
are going to be the ones that are going to get start taking over. And I feel like that's about 7 to 10 years away.
I
Yeah.
mean, I hope it's not that far away. Like I hope we start seeing guys with a lot of movement again, because
Yeah.
that is a problem with the high speed, right? Is you just don't get the same movement that you do with some of those lower speed pitches. But it's funny now because when you see one that has good movement, like it's all over Sports Center, right? Because you see like 3 of them a year now.
Right.
Right.
So when you
Right.
see one that's just got a nasty walk to it, you're just like, oh, here we go, right? But I mean, that's the exception, not the norm anymore. So I hope it's not a decade away that we start seeing a lot of movement, slower pitching, high rotation speeds. I want to see more of that. Like those were fun to watch when you
Yeah.
see those sliders walk, from the middle of the plate to, 15 inches off the side. And you're just like, how did that happen?
Yeah, like knuckleballers that just
Yeah.
make that ball just like, not sure where we're going. And
Yep.
yeah, the problem is neither does the catcher.
I mean, true. Yeah. Yeah. The knuckleball is great if no one's on base.
Right.
Yes. But I remember when Nolan was pitching for the Astros, I remember there was a very big controversy because his ball would take a 6-inch dip right before it got to the plate, and it would mess people up. And they were trying to say, well, Nolan's doctoring the ball, he's doing this, this, and this. Nothing ever came out of it. But I remember when he had
Because it
those
was all
big
true.
drops.
It was all true.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh, listen, and Nolan Ryan is arguably the best pitcher baseball has ever seen. You know
Sure.
what I mean? He was absolutely cheating. But that's part of the game. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And if you get away with it, you're great. And he was able to get away with it for a long time. And that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like I said, I feel that that's a part of baseball. Like I
Sure.
said, this whole I was okay with the steroid era. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel that that's I don't want them. I don't want the spitballs and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's not what we're talking about here. But he was able to do things with that baseball that not many people were able to do, and he had a rubber arm that kind of did that. You can't tell me he wasn't doing certain things that helped his plight,
Right.
because
Sure.
everybody else was too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like it's just recently now that they're checking. Imagine they had to do that every inning with Nolan Ryan. There's no way he would have 7 no hitters. No way. Just it would be impossible because they would have caught him. Like just
Well,
even the tack, having the tack on the ball. You know what I mean? A little bit of tack and stuff like that. It's just
Well,
those.
especially when you think of he was getting some of that drop on the express, right? On his heater that was faster than just about everybody else's, right? And for you to get that kind of spin on your fastball, yeah, of course you have some sort of tack, pine tar, something's on there to give you a little extra grip on that ball.
Correct. and that's okay. You know what I mean? I'm game for that because I feel like first off, great hitters still hit him.
Yes.
And it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like it didn't matter. He was a great pitcher, but like I mean, I think that if you look at the record between him and Tony Gwynn, like Tony Gwynn got the better of him.
Yeah.
Like he did most pitchers.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gwynn's a different.
I feel like Tony Gwynn is one of those kind of guys that just never really got all the love he should have got because that guy was amazing.
I mean, let's find out. One
of the funny stats with Nolan Ryan, though, is when you hear about the amount of guys that he struck out that then had kids that grew up to get into the league that he struck out also. Talk about a career that lasted a long time.
But what I also like about that era was Nolan Ryan. Yeah, go ahead and charge the mound if you want to. I promise you, Nolan will whoop the shit out of you.
Right? He would absolutely stick you in the face. Yeah. He's like,
do we even have pitchers like that now? I mean, do we have anybody tough enough that would take somebody charging and put them in a headlock and start pounding on them?
Oh yeah, no, like that's one of the best videos. Like it is hilarious. I would absolutely do the Mariners, right? I'm not going to Minnesota, so yeah, I think the Mariners would be a fun one because I, like I've said many times on this show, am mildly competitive. I would be interested in winning.
Yeah,
it's something I can't say in previous years has been that important to the ownership groups that have been here. So at the same time, I'd let the baseball people do baseball things, right?
Yeah. All right, so here are the top 5 hitters against Nolan Ryan.
Okay.
Based on at least 50 plate appearances.
Okay.
Number 1 is George Hendrick, who had 59 appearances at the plate, hit 17 hits for 347 average.
Okay.
He actually was walked 10 times. 17 hits and 49 at bats at 59 plate appearances. So he got walked or hit 10 times against him. Bob Homer, or Horner. I'm sorry, not Homer. Horner. 58 plate appearances, had 16 hits and 53 at bats. Okay. So he had 5 walks. Rod Carew, 74 plate appearances, had a 306 batting average, 19 hits in 62 at bats. Okay. Tony Gwynn, as we said, 67 plate appearances, 19 hits and 63 at bats. And Enos Slaughter, who was 58 plate appearances and had 14 hits in 50 at bats. The person who has the most hits recorded against Nolan Ryan, the top 3, actually, I have to go through the top 4. George Brett is number 1 at 29 hits. He had 115 plate appearances, though. Ozzie Smith had 100 plate appearances and had 26 hits against Ryan. Andre Dawson had 20 hits and 89 plate appearances against Ryan. And Steve Garvey had 20 hits and 78 plate appearances. Gwynn, Buddy Bell, and Rod Carew all had 19 hits.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean,
that is interesting.
that lets you know that like 99% of the league really couldn't hit him very well.
Right.
Because even the guys that are at the top there, it's not like they had blistering numbers against him.
Right. Like that. The highest was a 348.
Yeah.
Now it did say that it gave it 50 plate appearances, and it did say that there were a few people that had like a 400 or stuff, but only in like 10 plate appearances and stuff.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's not a big enough sample size. I'd be like the one guy, I got up once and I hit the ball batting 1,000 against Nolan.
Well, and it did say that there were 8
probably
people who batted 1,000 against him with one plate appearance.
Sure. Right. Because probably not enough data on you to figure out how it is he wants to pitch to you. Like, I mean, so those are the ones that it's like, you got to have that qualifier of enough plate appearances that he knows what he's looking at. Like you can surprise someone once.
Well, and think about that. Realistically, if you have somebody that you have no idea what they're going to do in your first time that you're ever seeing them, and they first pitch swing, which is what I would do against Nolan Ryan, is because you figure that's going to be the best pitch you're ever going to see against him.
Probably. And it's going to be hot.
It's going to be a fastball. It's going to be a fastball in the strike zone. He's going to blow it past you to see what you got.
Yep.
And you first pitch swing and smack it. Like I said, I can't imagine that many people. I mean, I didn't ask the question how many home runs did he give up, but like I got to imagine that there was a lot of people who did not have, first hit home runs against him.
Right. I would bet he gave up a lot of home runs based on how fast the pitch came out, right? Like his heater was no joke. So if you did make contact, that thing was definitely leaving. Right.
So, but there again, it's like I feel that, because if you hit a home run off of him, the next at bat, you'd better watch your head.
Oh, yeah. You're eating a pitch. No question. Yeah.
So,
and his wasn't like a friendly hit you in the hip or the side. Like, yeah, he'd he would do that. What was it for Love of the Game? Look for this.
Kevin Costner.
Your ear.
Yeah. I will tell you, Brad, if I had out of the teams you just put on there, I like this. I like the warmer climates. I don't really do cold weather, and New York and stuff. They're kind of uptight up there. I don't really like the uptight stuff, so I'd probably go for the more relaxed, chill surfer vibes down in San Diego, and go for the Padres. That'd probably be more my vibe. So that's the direction I would
you
go.
don't have to worry about attendance because it's always been not the best. So
we're gonna change that. We're gonna look at real quick. So I was looking at the 1920s.
Stuff to do.
Yeah, no, that's true. I was looking at the 1920s. I was curious to see what kind of pitches were thrown back in earlier days. And they actually had quite a slew of them. Fastball, curve, knuckle, screwball, slider, and changeup were slowly coming in at around the 1920s. The only difference I see between them and us now is just the velocity, because I think back then, 85, if you were lucky to get to 90, that was like your flamethrowers. And then now, obviously, we are much past that. But they actually had quite a few pitches that they were throwing, even in them earlier days.
I think there was a better variety, actually, years ago than there is today.
Right.
Yeah, I think that they have a hard time. Most pitchers have a hard time gripping the ball the way that they use it. It's no longer about the grip. It's about the arm speed. And that's why I wish that they would be able to do things differently a little bit. So.
But do you think it's because of that arm speed rather than the grip is what's leading to a lot of these injuries? They're leading
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all arm speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why it's a bigger deal now. That's why it's almost you're waiting to get Tommy John surgery.
Mm-hmm.
It almost makes sense to get the Tommy John surgery early, like make it happen. But who am I to say that? Like it's now
Yeah,
you're
almost as
doing
preventative.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's necessary. The problem is that if you're a pitcher who can strike out, like think about this as a high school pitcher. You're a high school pitcher and you're striking out. I mean, they have 7 inning games, and you can come out and get like 12 strikeouts in a game on average, but you're only throwing 80 miles per hour is like your top speed. But because you can get them out with all the other pitches, you're not even looked at
Right.
in like you would have to go to an independent league.
Yeah.
Because they want the speed. You need the speed to go to there. And like and that's why it's like, okay, I can't, there's no chance that these guys are going to make it in just now. That's why I think it's going to take 10 years, 7 to 10 years.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the other part of that is, I mean, what they're talking about right now is the salary cap in baseball. When Manfred got kicked out of the Phillies dugout.
Yeah, he did. Harper laid into him on that one.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it. First off, I don't care. Like I said, I have no skin in this game, but it's going to be a lockout. They're going to have a lockout.
For sure.
I mean, it sure looks like it. It sure looks like it.
And ultimately, they're going to come back and have a salary cap because baseball is going to have to mimic a little bit of football.
So with now the salary cap, if it does get instituted, I got to imagine there's going to be a lot more, unless they ban it, there's going to be a lot more of that deferred stuff like what Los Angeles is doing with their players, wouldn't it?
No. I think what's going to wind up happening is that there's going to have to be some type of buyout that the MLBPA is going to have to sign off on some of these contracts. Like, hey, we're not going to allow this anymore. So all of those contracts are not going to be null and void. You're going to be forced. They're going to be enforced. So they're going to be now enforced. So the Dodgers are going to wind up, in 2 years' time, quite possibly getting screwed.
Well,
I mean?
it makes you think that there's going to be some sort of grandfathered in something.
I don't think so. And the reason why is because they have them so far out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
there
not
is
that.
that.
They're not going to be able to do it like that. They're not going to be able
Well,
to.
are you saying that they're basically going to take Ohtani's contract back and remodify it to fit the salary cap?
They're going to take away the deferment.
Yeah. They're going to make him pay him.
Right.
Which is basically going to bankrupt the team.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn. I see what you're saying. They're going to make it. They're not going to defer it. They're just going to make it pay it all within that time frame.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that tries to come together. They were so when they were two different leagues. It was a combination of leagues coming together. So that's that's like the AFC and the NFC, right? It was the NFL and it was American football.
American football.
Yeah.
League.
So that's generally how those divisions come together. Similar to the UFL just forming, right? The USFL and the XFL, they merge. So now their divisions are that. So, or their conferences rather. So that's generally how conferences come together. Shifting over to football before we get out of here, we have Noah Fant joining the Bengals, which makes some sense because of the way he plays the tight end position. But man, does it really just highlight the fact the Bengals do not care about defense. They're just like, defense? Yeah, we don't do that here. Since it's about scoring.
So it looks like Henderson is in camp. He's just not doing anything other than, I guess, team meetings or something of that nature.
Yeah. Well, some of that is because Cincy is not a team that will forego fines, right? They're not ones that are like, oh, you accrued a fine, we're not going to charge you. They're like, no, you accrued it. You're you accrue those fines, you're going to pay them. And so that's why you end up with hold-ins, because you're there, right? So they can't fine you for not being there. So it's just a hold-in situation. But I just thought it was funny that they went and got a tight end. And don't get me wrong, Noah Fant's great. I was a little bit surprised when we let him go, but we have a lot of younger guys to fill that role. But for them to just go get another offensive weapon, if you're on that defense, are you just like, you guys suck, right? Like we have so many holes, right? Like if you're one of the top guys on that defense, you're just like, there's literally like 10 other dudes that we need somewhere on this defense. Yeah,
Hey,
I don't know. I thought it was
winning
funny.
a game 50-49 is still a win.
It is still a win. You know when that doesn't play very well, though, is
When you
in
get
the
down.
playoffs. Defense all of a sudden matters because the other offenses are pretty good.
Yeah, but you know what? You could wind up. The Tigers got Kyle Finnegan. Yeah, that's what I'm looking to see if there's last second things here. It's actually 6 o'clock is the deadline, not 4. So we're going to have an extra 2 hours.
6 o'clock.
2 hours.
The other thing is we got the Hall of Fame game tonight. So we finally have some football, which for our football starved fans, I mean, I'll watch it.
What's the over under?
I did not look at the odds. It's a preseason game. I would never bet money on a preseason game.
33.5. And the Lions are a 2.5 point favorite. I am going to definitely go. That's an under.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's either going to be under or way over, right? Like the defense is just atrocious and people are scoring all over. But no, I would bet that it's an under. Just like you've seen in camps, the defense is always ahead of schedule when it comes to early game play. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm going under there.
Yeah, I got the over under on field goals being 5. That's what I think. I think it could very well be a 17-9 game. Which would make it under in field goals, but it could also be a 20-9 game, which would make it tied. Like, so 4.5, I think, would be the over under in field goals.
Yeah, that's a line. No question, I would leave alone. I'd be like,
oh, I'm not betting at all.
That's not worth the pizza money. That's not worth the pizza money. I will actually just order a pizza with that. I don't know. I'm excited to just have some football back. It's even though I know it's going to be a garbage game, that doesn't matter. 90% of the guys playing in it aren't even going to be on a roster when the season starts. At the same time, I'm ready for some football.
Hey, real quick, I know we got to get out of here, but I'll tell you right now, I am really excited. I cannot wait till the first week of college football. I think it's August 30th, that Saturday. It's a little before that, but the real big games obviously are on that Saturday because there's some big time games. I think Clemson and LSU, I think, are going at it. Texas and Ohio State rematch are going to open up the series. I mean, there's some Alabama, I think, is going up against somebody. I can't remember. This is a big school.
Mr. Mary of the Poor.
Yeah.
That's who they're going up against.
But that's going to be a hell of a Saturday, though.
There's going to be a lot of eyes on Texas because they're going to want to see if Manning can be that guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a good Saturday for college football.
Absolutely. That being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. If you've been hanging out with us, we appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our stuff to you. Otherwise, we are going to get out of here. We will see y'all tomorrow. Enjoy football tonight and, whatever else you're watching.
Peace.